You are not supposed to think all the time. Yes, you heard me. That constant buzz in your head isn't a virtue or sign of intelligence. It's a trap. You've been told your mind is your greatest asset, that endless thinking will save you. But right now, it's doing the opposite. It's sabotaging you. You think all that overanalyzing is helping. You sit there running scenarios, planning for every outcome, feeling like you're being productive. But it's a lie. Overthinking wears the disguise of productivity. It fools you into believing you're solving problems when in reality you're just cycling through the same thoughts again and again. Be honest, you feel in control because your mind is busy, but that control is imaginary. You're like a hamster on a wheel. Lots of effort, no forward motion, or a person frantically building a house in their head that they'll never live in. All that mental effort and nothing real to show for it. Meanwhile, life is happening outside your head. Opportunities pass by while you're stuck in analysis paralysis. You're rehearsing for imaginary disasters while real moments slip away. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, Seneca said, and he was right. You've been suffering problems that don't even exist yet, if they ever will. Why do we fall for this? Because thinking feels safe. The world is chaotic, unpredictable, but your thoughts are yours. In your head, you can play out every scenario, rewrite the script, pretend you're ready for anything. It's a space where nothing can go wrong until you actually step into the real world. And when you do, what happens? You've created so many what-ifs and catastrophes in your mind that reality feels heavy and hostile. Your body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. By replaying 1,000 imagined failures, your mind tricks your body into feeling it's already lived them. The stress, the anxiety, it's not coming from the world. It's coming from you. This is the cruel joke of overthinking. It pretends to protect you, but it poisons you. Every imagined crisis, every dreaded outcome that never actually happens still leaves its scar. You live through countless failures in your head and wonder why you're so anxious. It's because you've been through hell without ever leaving your chair. And through it all, there's a voice narrating every moment. You know the one, the relentless commentator in your mind that never shuts up. It's like a radio droning on and on, a lot of noise with no real music. You're eating breakfast and it's already talking. Did I screw up yesterday? What about today? You walk outside and it mutters, "It's cold, this is miserable, I hate winter," turning a simple chill into suffering. This mental narration running in your head has convinced you that it is you. It talks in your voice, it knows your fears, it comments on everything. And you've listened to it your whole life, so you assume it must be right. You think if that voice says you're angry or scared or not good enough, then it must be so. But have you ever questioned it? That mental voice tries to control your experience with constant commentary, to give you a sense of control in a world where you actually have none. It labels and judges every second, good, bad, safe, dangerous. And by doing so, it traps you. You end up living inside your thoughts instead of in reality. Here's the truth. That voice in your head is not you. It's a part of you, a useful part sometimes. But it has muscled its way into the driver's seat. You, the real you, are the one listening. You are the awareness behind the thoughts, the one who hears the mental chatter. Don't believe it? Try this. Notice the next thought that pops up, even if it's, "I don't get this." Who noticed that thought? A thought can't notice itself. You noticed it. That you, the silent observer, is your awareness. And that awareness is far more real than any passing thought. When you start to identify with that aware silence, something shifts. It's like discovering that your mind has been a stormy snow globe all this time. Thoughts shake it up, swirling like a blizzard, making everything cloudy. But when you simply watch instead of react, when you stop feeding every thought with more thinking, the flurry begins to settle. At first, maybe only for a moment, you get a glimpse through clear water. You feel a stillness, a clarity. But then another worry comes and you shake the globe again. You've been doing this for years, endlessly agitating your mind and wondering why you can't see clearly. The truth is, you haven't been letting it settle. Your mind, left to itself, is a self-clearing system. Give it a moment of stillness and it will restore clarity on its own. But you rarely give it that chance. You experience a few seconds of quiet and you get uncomfortable. Silence scares you. The absence of that familiar mental noise feels odd, even frightening if you've lived in it for so long. So what do? You reach for noise. Your mind is like a radio cranked up, flipping through stations of static just to avoid the silence. Anything to not feel that emptiness. Random thoughts, old memories, future worries. They rush in like filler music. It's all junk, but at least it drowns out the quiet. All that static, all that mental scrambling serves one purpose: to keep you from facing what's real. The irony is that the silence you fear is actually where life is found. Underneath the chatter, reality waits, the present moment with all its richness. But you miss it because you're addicted to the noise. Think about it. When was the last time you truly experienced a moment without your mind commenting on it? Even something as simple as taking a shower. Are you feeling the water on your skin, or are you arguing with someone in your head? You're physically there, but mentally you're elsewhere, trapped in a cage of endless thought. It really is a cage of words and ideas that surrounds you. The bars are invisible because you think they're protecting you, but they're not. They're keeping you from the world outside, like a prisoner who's been locked up so long they're afraid of the free world. You've been confined in your own mind, mistaking it for reality. Now, I'm not telling you to lobotomize yourself or become a mindless shell. I'm telling you to use your mind for what it's meant for and then put it down. Your mind is a tool. Incredibly powerful, absolutely. But so is a knife, and you don't grip a knife by the blade 24/7 without bleeding. Your mind is a tool, like a knife. Use it when it's needed to cut through a problem, then set it aside. Don't wave it around aimlessly. You'll only hurt yourself and those around you. Not everything needs to be sliced up by analysis. If you try to think your way through every aspect of living, you end up dissecting life into pieces and missing the whole. It's like trying to appreciate a song by cutting the instruments apart. Sometimes you need to just listen. You've forgotten how to just be. To eat a meal and taste every bite without a dozen thoughts barging in. To walk down the street and simply feel the ground under your feet instead of planning the next errand or replaying yesterday's talk. Real awareness, real living happens in those moments when you drop the commentary and actually experience what's in front of you. Consider the times when you felt truly alive. The awe of seeing a stunning sunset, or the adrenaline of a near accident narrowly avoided, or the moment you fell in love. In those instances, did you notice? Your mind went quiet. Time slowed down. You weren't thinking about the experience. You were immersed in it fully. You can't live your whole life in those peak moments, I know, but it shows you something. Life demands your attention at times, and when it does, thought stops. The real question is, why wait for life to demand it? Why not give your attention freely right now to whatever you're doing, to whoever you're with? I only know how vital this is because I've been a prisoner of overthinking myself. Let me tell you a quick story. I remember lying in bed night after night, my mind racing so fast I thought I might break. I replayed conversations, imagined catastrophes, berated myself for mistakes. 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, heart pounding. And all I was doing was thinking, compulsively, relentlessly. It never solved a damn thing. I lived in the illusion that if I just thought a little harder, I'd figure life out. I'd feel in control. But I was wrong. The more I stayed in my head, the more out of control my real life became. I was moody, anxious, disconnected. I'd be with friends or family, nodding and smiling, but I wasn't there. I was trapped in a dialogue in my skull, a million miles away. It took hitting a wall for me to wake up. One day, after a particularly brutal bout of overthinking that left me exhausted and no closer to answers, it clicked. I realized I'd wasted years living in my head instead of in the world. My life was passing me by while I was stuck in a mental maze, and I decided no more. At first, silencing my mind felt impossible. It was like trying to tame a wild animal. The moment I sat down and tried to be still, my brain went into overdrive. It threw every fear, every unfinished task at me to get my attention. It was like a radio desperately trying to stay on, pumping out more static. I had to train myself gently but firmly to turn that dial down. I learned to watch my thoughts instead of grabbing onto them. A worry would appear. You're going to fail at this, you know. And I'd normally latch onto that and spiral, but I started doing something different. I acknowledged it and let it go. I imagined it drifting by, just a cloud in the sky of my mind. I refused to follow it down the usual rabbit hole. It wasn't easy. It took practice, daily practice, to step back and just observe. But over time, those clouds started to thin out. I began to feel something I hadn't in years. Peace. Not the false peace of, I've thought through everything, so now I feel safe. A deeper peace. The kind that comes when you make peace with not having to think about everything. I started noticing the world again. Little things like the way sunlight feels on your face in the morning, or how the first sip of coffee can warm more than just your body when you're truly there to enjoy it. I listened to people, really listened without my mind finishing their sentences or formulating my reply. And for the first time in a long time, I actually felt connected to others, to my own life. This is the transformative power of presence. When you live in the moment, you see that most of those worries were ghosts. The things right in front of you, the reality of now, is usually manageable, often beautiful, and always real. Problems become simpler to solve because you're focusing on what is, not 100 what-ifs. Without the constant fog of overthinking, you become effective and calm. It's almost ironic, by thinking less, you achieve more. You realize that no amount of frantic thought can equal one moment of clear action. When an issue arises, you deal with it directly, cleanly, and when it's resolved, you let it go instead of replaying it on loop. I'm not saying every day becomes bliss and rainbows. Life still has challenges, pain, uncertainty. But when your mind isn't muddying the waters with constant noise, you meet those challenges with clarity. You respond instead of react. You listen to your intuition, that quiet voice beneath the mental static, and it guides you. It was always there. It's just drowned out when you think too much. Here's a funny thing. Once I stopped overusing my mind actually got sharper, like a muscle finally given time to rest and grow. It started working for me instead of against me. I became more creative. Solutions to problems popped up while I was taking a walk or shower, when before I'd just grind away and get nowhere. When you give your brain some silence, it's like letting a field lay fallow. Eventually, it yields a healthier crop. So what about you? How do you break out of this habit of constant thinking? It starts with a simple step. Notice it. Catch yourself in the act. The next time you find your thoughts spiraling, planning, worrying, replaying, stop and take a breath. Literally, take one deep breath and pay attention to it. This interrupts the cycle for a moment. That's your foot in the door. In that moment, choose not to dive back into the whirlwind. Instead of following the thought about, say, your job or your relationship, just label it thinking. Acknowledge that your mind is doing its thing again, and then redirect your focus to something real, the here and now. Feel the chair you're sitting in. Listen to the sounds around you. Look at the scene in front of your eyes. Anchor yourself in reality. You'll have to do this again and again. Don't expect one breath to silence a lifetime of overthinking. Your mind will keep yanking at you like a spoiled child, demanding your attention. That's fine. Each time you gently refuse to get hooked, you're training it. You're teaching yourself that you are in charge, not your stray thoughts. Over time, those thoughts lose a bit of their power. They still come, but you don't get dragged behind them as easily. You start to feel a sliver of space in your head, a quiet that was never there before. That quiet is freedom. It's you stepping out of the cage. Understand, I'm not telling you to never think. I'm saying stop thinking incessantly. There's a time and place for analysis and reflection. When you use them deliberately, they're tools that serve you. But the rest of the time, you must learn to turn the tools off and live. Put the knife back in its sheath until it's needed. Turn the radio off for a while and enjoy the silence. You won't lose anything important, I promise. The world won't fall apart because you stopped worrying for 5 minutes. In fact, you'll finally realize all that mental grinding was what kept you stuck. Once you taste even a bit of mental quiet, you'll wonder how you lived without it. That quiet room in your mind, the one you've been avoiding, becomes a sanctuary, a place where you can actually rest, where you can hear your own heart and intuition whispering softly but clearly about what really matters. In that sanctuary, you find peace, not a fragile peace that depends on everything going right, but a solid peace that comes from knowing you can handle things as they come. You're no longer tormented by endless hypotheticals. You see that you'll face life's challenges in the moment with presence and clarity, the only time you ever can face them. And here's something else. When you stop living in your head, you become present for others. The people you care about, they notice the change. You're actually there with them. You listen, you connect. Your relationships deepen because you're not half absent, lost in thought. You smile more. You play like you haven't in years because play requires being here, not stuck in your head. So I'm challenging you now. Dare to step out of your mind and into your life, even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it's uncomfortable. When you catch yourself overthinking, stop. Tell that mental voice, not now. And bring your attention back to what you're doing, to where you are, to the person in front of you. Do this once, then do it again and again. Yes, you'll stumble. You'll get caught in your head 100 times a day. That's okay. The victory is in noticing it the 101st time and freeing yourself. Over time, the chains of thought loosen. The intervals of peace get longer. The static recedes. Imagine a life where your mind is your ally, not your enemy. Where you can still think deeply when you choose to, but you're no longer a slave to an overactive brain. That life is possible. I know because I live it now. It's not perfect, and I'm not always present, but I'm here so much more than I ever was before. And here is where life actually happens. You're not supposed to think all the time. You're supposed to live. You've seen the trap. Now seize the key. Turn the mental noise down, step outside of that cage of thought, and stand in the world as it is. Feel the air in your lungs, the ground beneath you. Embrace the reality of this moment, free from the chains of overthinking. This, right here, is your life. Claim it.